Recording time. Welcome to the 500th Cardi related video. Don't say I didn't warn you. We waited 5 years for the album, so I'm milking this topic for as long as I can, and I'm cranking out as many related videos as I can. Today we will be reacting. Reacting is a strange word, but we're gonna be watching Anthony Fantano's review of Playboi Carti's music, and I'll just preface this by saying, like, I don't really watch the Needle Drop very much, but I did have a talk with my friend about, like, should Anthony Fantano's opinion be trusted on any type of music? And I basically told him, like, this shit speaks for itself. Like, he listens to all kind of music, and I kind of trust his opinion. I've heard his I've listened to his reviews for Carnival and for like all the Vultures, and he gets really like really excited with his reviews. But hey, bro, let's just get into it. Also, yeah, there are videos of, like, hour long him reacting to the entire album. Why? Obviously we're not going to watch that. So I was waiting for this, and yeah, let's see what he has to say about it. The internet's busiest music geek. All right.
Hi everyone, Chartthany Top Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Playboi Carti album, Music. Here we have a brand new LP from rapper, songwriter, in-demand artist, hip-hop's current it boy, Mr. Playboi Carti, coming through with a project that is almost 5 years in the making. Music, really one of the most highly anticipated releases in recent memory, and you do have to give it to those Carti fans. Their devotion to him may borderline on disturbing sometimes, but they're at least patient enough to have stuck with him while this record came together. Certainly many fan bases would have moved on at this point, having waited so many years, especially with so many copycat artists these days flooding the zone with their own mid to respectable takes on Carti's trademark sound, the aggressive, distorted, cycling, trippy beats he tends to favor, his experimental approach to flows and vocal inflections, the dark, elusive, and mysterious ways in which he presents himself too. All of which he slowly developed after having blown up off of his self-titled mixtape,
Perfectly analytical take so far,
back in 2017. But even with Carti's last official full-length album being almost 5 years old at this point, his many imitators haven't even come close to lapping him in terms of relevancy. And that is despite a very frustrated fan base being subjected to countless leaks, teases, album title changes, singles, pushbacks, weak features, and for some reason, fit pics. But then all of a sudden, we got Music here, which was just announced in a flash last week, dropped the following Friday, and now it's here. And despite there having been so much time for this project to incubate,
say something stupid, I dare you,
effectively, it still sounds...
It sounds what?
So rushed and inconsistent. And I mean, in some ways, not much has really changed since the release of Carti's last record, Whole Lotta Red, in 2020. Because, and I know many would disagree with this, that album in its own right was a pretty inconsistent, disjointed project. I mean, among its 24 songs, there really was no through line guiding all of the tracks overall. I mean, a majority of the tracks on this thing didn't even sound mixed and mastered the same as quite...
Vampires don't need mix and mastering, Mr. Fantano.
If you were actually kind of quite painful to listen to. By comparison, I will say the overall mix job on Music here is slightly better. Even Cocaine Nose, which sounds like an ultra distorted throwback to the Whole Lotta Red era, with looped metal guitar licks and all, the track OPM Baby, I would say, sort of feels like it could have come from that same album too, to an extent. And yeah, throughout the rest of the album, there are some familiar Carti-isms here and there, like the track Olympian sounds like something that could have been one of the synthier cuts to land land on his 2017 Die Lit album. That is, if it were sort of updated with his throatier, froggier delivery style that he's been kind of favoring as of late. But honestly, tracks like these are more the exception than the rule. In this very hefty 30-song track list, whose worst moments sound near effortless and pretty thrown together. And
is this scripted? I gotta learn how to yap like this, to be honest, bro.
Look, I know there are some hype standouts and singles and big features in this album that have been a huge point of discussion around this album for sure, but we cannot allow those flashes in the pan to 100% dictate all the discourse around this album. Because again, there are 30 songs on this project and they all collectively contribute to this album's overall quality. And looking at this project as a whole, I feel like I'm pulling up the floorboards on a house and just like seeing termites just devastating all of the wood that the entire house is built on. Because once again, like with Whole Lotta Red, and that album was like packed with all that vamp shit and so on and so forth. With music, I just don't really feel like there's a lot of vision pulling these songs together because they're either so short and directionless and underdeveloped that their inclusion on this album is insulting.
Not that's not the first time I heard that take. I heard people say that, you know, it didn't really have like, bro, so far we're 4 minutes in, he didn't say anything that crazy yet. He just said like the album didn't really have like a solid direction other than to just make the fans happy, which obviously delivered on. But yeah, he acknowledged that Whole Lotta Red had the whole vamp like theme to it. But yeah, I like that's not the first time that I heard that take, that this album didn't really have a clear theme.
Or I'm just left feeling like Cardi and company could have just done more
with the track.
We Need All the Vibes, for example, is a track that just kind of sounds like an old, stale, Young Thug summer jam that was sitting in the vault, and Playboi Carti just like contributed a couple bars to the second half of it, and that's it. There's also Rather Lie featuring The Weeknd, which kind of sounds like the other side of a coin we already caught wind of from Timeless on Abel's recent full-length album. It's kind of like they came up with two variations on the same song idea, and I think Cardi got the weaker of the two variations here. There's Twin Trim featuring Lil Uzi Vert as well, which this track doesn't even have a Cardi verse on it. It just kind of seems like a bunch of synths and grooves from the Lil Uzi Vert versus the World era, but it's somehow landing on this album for some reason. I've seen it described as an interlude, but like an interlude from what to what?
It's not an interlude, and it's also, it doesn't need again, like I just said, the idea of this album is most likely just to make people happy. It's not to do like this like new era, new sound. Like it's really just to make people happy. So when people are like, oh, purple hair Uzi's back, OG Uzi's back, like yeah, you could expect to have a song with just, I mean, you can't expect that. I didn't expect to hear a song with no Cardi, just Uzi. That's pretty unexpected. But I mean, at least the song wasn't bad.
Because it just kind of sounds like one more ungroomed random song in a sea of other ungroomed random songs.
Groomed.
And this isn't even the worst Uzi Vert track on the record. There's also the song Jumpin', which feels like one of those tracks that you get on a posthumous record after a rapper has passed away and a label tasks 2 or 3 producers with like assembling a track out of a leftover verse or something that was just like in the vault. Just chop a few lines together, get them all punched in, and then after that, just repeat a few so that it kind of makes a refrain or a chorus and just extend it out so it feels like a song. It's like I'm hearing a Frankenstein monster being assembled of a bunch of different random lines.
You're bullshitting, bro. This song was not that bad. Relax.
Rather than a full and complete verse. And of course, filling in the gaps here and there, we have Swamp Izzo, who is screaming all over this record, and I will mention again a little bit later into the review. But yeah, from here we have more tracks on the record that sound rushed and short-winded, but just shouldn't be. Like Toxic featuring Skepta, who is obviously a very interesting feature inclusion for this record, but the song that
oh my god, I want to hear him talk about Kendrick, bro. I want to know what he thinks.
He's on just kind of trails right off as soon as he appears. The songs Walk, Overly, and This One Got It sound like short, incomplete Future demos. Meanwhile, the track Charge Them Hoes a Fee.
No, Walk was good, I think. I think Walk was good. Charzam Josephi and this one got it, I think, we're sure.
Actually does have Future on it, and I don't think I've ever heard a song with this much star power, because it does have Future, it does have Cardi, it has Travis Scott on it as well. Yeah, all those names, and yet the whole thing sounds like it was produced and assembled on a moldy potato. We also have other tracks like Fine Shit as well as Philly, which also features Travis Scott, and these are more tracks that feel less like songs and more like rough sketches of songs, because I mean, as much as Travis and Future and Thugger and Kanye may obviously be very big influences on his sound and his style, he very much lacks the follow-through to really pull together a sound and a song and a vision in the way that they have in the past. Like, we are not talking about Utopia or DS2 or Jeffrey levels of focus here. Like, if anything, we're more in like that Donda 2 ballpark, which, mind you, I do think there is
Repeat that? I'm sorry, I zoned out. Did he just compare this to Donda 2?
And a vision in the way that they have in the past. Like, we are not talking about Utopia or DS2 or Jeffrey levels of focus here. Like, if anything, we're more in like that Donda 2 ballpark, which, mind you, I do think there is a certain appeal in that in some of the most weird, wild, and exciting tracks this album has to offer. Like on the opening track, Pop Out, where Cardi sounds absolutely insane, with production that features all of these hyper distorted ringing synthesizers, splotchy pieces of percussion, and also Cardi's raspy screamed verses and choruses to "Pop Out, Pop Out." He's absolutely out of control on this track and does a great job of channeling this pure visceral energy when he wants to. The following track, Crush, I thought was also a highlight, and while this one may not necessarily be like a genius feat of songwriting, it does feature a crazy combination of disparate sounds that make for a pretty unique experience, with Cardi's whispery flows, these sliding Game Boy type lead synth melodies, grand gospel style choruses, very rigid, almost industrial type hip hop beats, some very aggressive 808s too. It's total dystopian chaos. Now compare that to K-pop, which the album flows into immediately after, and with that track's more skeletal layers, the atmospheric synthesizers, Cardi's squeaky vocal delivery. I mean, the song is passably eerie, but it just doesn't really feel like it's bringing that much to the table, especially on this very abrupt ending. Compare that to the following Evil Jordan, which I do think on some level is a step up, sure, as Cardi's performance on the mic actually does sound organic rather than piece together. His allusions to being in like his rock star and emo phase right now are cute. The beat actually builds up some kind of momentum on the groove side. The hype swamp Izzo ad-libs are very aggressive and attention grabbing, and there's something about that stuttering, repeating, shrill little synth line that stands out among all the other beats here too. But beyond that, I feel like once again with this cut we are just overselling what is actually being delivered to us here. Because while yes, it is slightly weirder than the average track you'll get out there in the mainstream these days, is it substantively interesting? Not really. And is it detailed and layered enough to warrant repeating all that many times? No, absolutely.
I feel like a track's replayability and judging if it's interesting or not, I'm gonna use the word, is subjective. So I know he knows that, but like, I don't know. I think there are I mean, who gets to determine what song is worth replaying a bunch of times? I listened to Evil Jordan a lot when it was unreleased, like just someone screen recording the Instagram post on YouTube. I listened to it a lot, and album dropped, I'm still listening to it with the little gunshot sound effect. Like, I'm still enjoying it, so I don't know.
Absolutely not. However, I forgot in this section of the review,
even though I've heard it multiple
supposed to be talking
times.
about the highlights on the album. There is Mojo Jojo, which is a kind of Kendrick Lamar highlight, where Kenny mostly provides ad-libs on the track in a very odd intro, where he's like almost worshiping Cardi in a weird way. Oh yeah.
We need that extraterrestrial Cardi. We need that Back to the Future. We need that beep, 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 beep.
I need that Cardi, my favorite kind of Cardi. That alien Cardi, I need that Cardi, you know. Ooh. The chemistry. between both of them on the track is
What the
very
fuck?
odd and forced. It's like Kendrick is trying
Zesty
to create
Fantana.
that weird Baby Keem kooky crossover type of energy, but I just don't really feel like, creatively speaking, he has that sort of rapport with Cardi. It doesn't work in the same way on this track, especially with Cardi taking himself as seriously as he does. Backdoor
So you want him to act all snooky pooky to Baby Keem, but he can't do it to Jordan Terrell Cardi.
is another track on the record that features Kendrick Lamar, more Kendrick Lamar, frankly. And it's kind of like we're being subjected to one of his smoother ballad type cuts over a beat that sounds lifted straight out of the Drake Nothing Was the Same era, which I think Cardi's very spotty, inconsistent flows failed to dominate the space of. But yeah, as far as Kendrick's contribution on this track goes, it's less than stellar. I feel like he's dropped at least several very key and impressive tracks in a similar style as of late, be it Luther or 30 for 30. And I feel like those tracks would have had to have been just absolutely disappointing crud for me to think of this track more than twice after I'm done recording this review. There's also good credit too, as far as Kendrick Lamar features are concerned on this project. On this one, Kendrick is at least more in his rap bag, actually delivering a verse. It's the most impressive of the three tracks here that I'm mentioning. There's a great key change in the cut as well, but I feel like once again, Kendrick is operating at a lower gear than usual and almost trying to match Cardi's super inconsistent flow.
Because yeah, lower gear. After Kendrick has had this much attention, what the hell? Like, what else does he have to really say? Like, he's kind of done. I think Kendrick has literally done, like, what hasn't Kendrick talked about? All that's left to do is just to freak out with Cardi on an opium Xanax beat. Like, that's all there is to do. You just freak out on a beat with Cardi on an album that's gonna go #1 for weeks. Like, what else? What you want him to talk about? Like Black History Month? Like that ass. Like Cardi. I mean, Kendrick deserves to have his fun, I guess.
Style, allowing for the beat and the ad-libs to kind of take over and interrupt him at points. The whole thing sort of feels like a, straight up flex, maybe an extension to one degree or another of the recent victory lap he's been on post his Drake beef. That is until he starts kind of going on about Playboi Carti being his evil twin, which not only feels weird because on some level it is kind of odd and hypocritical of Kendrick Lamar posturing morally as much as he has in recent months to be kind of collaborating with Carti this deeply and unabashedly on these tracks. I don't think he's calling him his evil twin for no reason, but even that I feel like is giving Carti too much credit, because I feel like even an evil twin version of Kendrick Lamar could give us a solid 16 on a track like this, and we're not even getting that. And look, not to single out Kendrick Lamar, obviously I expected more from him going into this project, but honestly, I don't think any guest on this record brings a particularly great feature performance. I mean,
that's actually true. I didn't really think about that. Like Uzi had 2 songs. I liked them, but like they weren't insane. The Skepta song wasn't insane. All Travis Scott had multiple chances. It wasn't insane. Future wasn't insane. I'm gonna let him keep going.
I mean, Travis Scott brings quite a few guest performances to this record, and even what he offers, I feel like, is pretty average by his usual standards. I mean, all things considered, it truly is Swamp Izzo who sounds the most excited to be on this album.
Dead ass. Take everyone off this album, but if you take Swamp Izzo out, this album sucks.
Every other appearance from every other person, even Cardi, much of the time, just comes across as repetitive, casual, low stakes, low energy, which, yeah, when those are the standards Cardi is setting for his own record, why wouldn't everybody else kind of follow suit? Okay, I swear, there are some highlights on this record. There's Crank, which I feel like is a prime example of Cardi when he is at his best here, and giving us tracks that essentially sound like the rap equivalent to a chaotic horror movie soundtrack. And there's Like Wheezy, which I enjoyed quite a bit as well, and features this very prominent sample of Rich Kids Bend Over with its very bright, cheery, super sweet lead melodies, which let Cardi come at the track with a kind of happy-go-lucky, almost silly type of energy, especially with bars on here where he's going on about spitting on a bitch like Pac. He sounds absolutely just out of his mind on this song. There's also HBA, which is another moment in the track list where I feel like Cardi is most definitely channeling some kind of high, otherworldly energy over a hype instrumental where he's just purely operating off of intuition, a gut feeling, and that's it. And again, moments like these are where this album truly feels locked into its greatest strengths. The issue is, though, that is not where most of the album is at.
I mean, shit. When you have something like 30 songs, I mean, again, how many? I'm gonna keep saying this. The album was to make people happy. If he released an album that was under 15 songs, under 10 songs, or people would not have been happy. So I think he played it safe by releasing hella shit, so people at least can take half of it home and be like, okay, I'll take this, thank you, Cardi, like, and kind of leave whatever they don't like to the side. But if there was like 15 songs and you only like half of them, that's like 5 years for like 7 songs. He released more than 7 songs, I swear, like through the Instagram posts and stuff. So I just think that, especially with something like albums nowadays, where a lot of it is done for monetary gain, the hype of like, oh, we're a new album, like Ye's new album, oh, Vultures, oh, there's gonna be 3 albums this year, oh, Bully, the new album. And then he had the Download podcast with, I think his name is Justin LaBoya. He had that Download podcast, and he was talking to North. He was talking to his daughter that was off camera, and he started talking about her album, and it's like, not everything has to really be an album. Cardi kind of did it in a cool way where he released low-key some of the best songs off of the album as singles, and I don't know. I think, like, at this point, you kind of just take what you can get.
As much of this record is unfocused, is sloppy, is inconsistent, rushed, thrown together, messily pieced together.
Relax.
Yeah, Cardi really managed to give us an album on this one that makes a record as bloated and as all over the place as Whole Lotta Red sound like it actually really truly had a point to it, which is why I'm feeling a strong 3 to a light 4.
Bro, the number he rated it on is lower than the amount of years it took to make the album. It took more years to make this album than he's even than this number score. Why 4? I think on Cardi's Twitter, he posted some type of like fake made, like, bootleg ass screenshot of Fantano before this. I was scrolling on Cardi's Twitter before this video even came out, and I don't know if it's still there, but he posted some type of edited screenshot of Fantano with the iMusic behind him, and it said 10, like strong 10 on the screen. And I was like, how the fuck you know it's a 10? The review didn't even come out yet. But 4 is insane.
On this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the...
I don't know why I'm watching this. I'm just curious what he's saying. Let's see, bro. Let's see. Video's over technically, but oh, I can't scroll down because that one CD has a crazy cover. This happened this morning, last night, I don't remember. But as you can see, all of the tracks plus 2024 and Backrooms. I mean, I guess I'll watch some like CD reviews later when people's CDs start coming in the mail. I low-key would get a CD. I can't scroll. See, like this one's crazy. Like it's like some like titties on it or something. But I like this one. I get the CD. This or the speaker. Hold on. Yo. Okay, quick. Ready? Nice. Missed it. Let's go. Okay, scroll up carefully here. I mean, I can show it. It's art. Like, it's an album cover. Like, video won't be in trouble. But, by the way, most of this merch is ass. But I'm not even going to review it because it's like, what's the point? Yo, hello? The CD, please. Oh, this is new. I think this is new. Oh, yeah. Huh. Shit. That's kind of hard. Bro, I would wear some shit like that, bro. Okay, yeah, the speaker one. I like this. So yeah, I'm gonna wait to see like some reviews. Like someone's gonna get a CD and then like unbox it and play it. Maybe there might be some tracks on it. Like you know how it is with vinyls. Like there's a bonus song or like bonus transition. So we'll see. Thank y'all so much for watching. I don't usually react to anything other than music. So this was like kind of the first time I reacted to somebody else's commentary. And I don't like doing it because, you know, it kind of makes me feel like I'm just like stealing someone's video. But I kind of did it within reason, I feel like. So yeah, if you liked, you're probably already subscribed, to be honest. Just subscribe. And if not, I'll give you a reason to tomorrow.